This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 21st day of September in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The top national grade 6 assessment spot for 2020 is being shared by two students of the public school system. North Georgetown Primary student Samuel Barcoy and Stella Maris Primary student Robin Lal both gained 525 marks to top the country at the grade 6 assessment examinations. Both of the young boys told News Source that they were well prepared for the exams, even with the delay and the changes to writing the exams because of COVID-19 guidelines.
I had to make sure that I studied, first of all, and get adequate amount of rest to get through the day.
It was not really a problem because I already had prepared a long time and I just continued preparing and did some work, and when the exam came I just went and did it.
Both young men will be starting their secondary school life at the country's premier high school, Queen's College. Alexander Singh of the Marian Academy claimed the number 2 spot, while the number 3 spot was shared by Liana Dharampal of Monoripo Primary and Brandon Ramden of Westfield Prep. The number 4 spot is being shared by Gabriel Felix of the New Guyana School, Brittany Peters of the 1 Mile Primary School in Linden, and Danish Tularam of the Academy of Excellence. 4 students tied to round off the top 5 spot. Chief Education Officer Marcel Hudson today said there were big improvements in the subject areas of English, Social Studies, and Science. He explained that mathematics saw a small decline when compared to the previous year.
Improved performances were recorded in English, Science, and Social Studies, while there was a slight drop in the performance of mathematics. In 2020, 61.2% of the candidates secured 50% and more in English, as against 51.7% in 2019. All administrative regions recorded, and I want to repeat that, all administrative regions recorded improvements in English. Region 3, 63.4, Region 6, 57.5, Region 10, 71.9, and Georgetown, 78.9, securing 50% and more in English. A significant improvement was noted in Social Studies. 53% of the candidates secured 50% and more in 2020, as against 39% in 2019. All administrative regions recorded improvement in this subject area. Region 7 moved from, and this is one of the interland regions, moved from 21% recorded 50% and more in 2019 to 30.8% in 2020. Region 5 recorded 49.2% in 2020 as against 33.7% in 2019. And of course we mentioned that mathematics, we saw a slight drop in mathematics from 42% to 39.4, 40 thereabout percent.
Education Minister Priyamanik Chan congratulated the top performers and all of the students who wrote the exams this year. She said she knew it was a trying time for them with the postponement of the exams and all of the other changes because of COVID-19. Minister Manik Chan reminded that the examination is a placement exam and therefore students must realize that they can still continue to do well at whatever secondary school they'll be placed at.
What we say here does not determine who you are. It does not define who you are. It does not say whether you're bright or not bright. It is really that we cannot fit more children into these schools. So the child who gets Brigham Secondary should not despair, should not be despondent, because you can do as well as the Queen's College student. We just don't have the space. It is as simple as that.
Questioned by News Source about whether she would give credit to the previous government and its education policies for the improved performance this year, Manik Chan said she prefers to give credit to the parents and the children.
If there's a good policy in place, nobody would stop that. But to suggest that it is a result of the previous administration that these kids are doing well, I would reject that and say it's in spite of their very harsh economic policies.
Over 14,000 students wrote this year's examination, which has seen improvements across the country. More news coming up in just a moment.
Isuzu D-Max, built to work. Whether it's mining, construction, agriculture, or just adventure, Isuzu D-Max does the job. Put it to the test. Isuzu D-Max, engineered to keep every promise. Marex is the authorized dealer for all Isuzu products. Marex, telephone 226-1482 and 226-1306.
The government of Guyana invites supermarkets and shops in all regions to submit expressions of interest to supply items for the COVID-19 Public Assistance Program Phase 2. Applicants must demonstrate capacity to supply canned and bottled food products, dry and fresh rations valued between $25,000 to $32,000 per voucher, have adequate space in their business as per COVID-19 guidelines, or for sanitation facilities. Interested applicants can uplift the expression of interest form and selection criteria from the Civil Defense Commission in Georgetown or at your nearest regional executive officer's office between 9 to 15 hours, or request by email at pavpgy@gmail.com. Kindly deposit completed forms on or before 9 hours September 30, 2020, along with copies of valid business registration or certificate of incorporation and NIS and GRA compliance into the tender box at the National Procurement and Tender Administration, Main and Urquhart Streets, Georgetown. These must be in a sealed envelope, clearly marked expression of interest to supply items under the COVID-19 Voucher Assistance Program Phase 2. No expression of interest will be accepted by email. The Civil Defense Commission reserves the right to accept or reject.
Falls, the official distributors of Castrol Marine, Mining and Power Gen lubricants in Guyana, now has in stock CRB engine oils, high-spin hydraulic oil, Vecton semi-synthetic truck oils, and Sultex cylinder oils. For the best prices, check our dealers countrywide or visit Falls Gas Station at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, or call the commercial manager on 608-4998. Castrol, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
Weathered every storm and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
That gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race, class, or religion,
We
are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Welcome back. There are calls this evening for a full investigation into the shooting death of 2 prisoners inside the Lusignan jail on Saturday during an unrest. Some human rights watchers are questioning why lethal force was used by the prison security, resulting in the deaths and injuries to 5 other prisoners. On Saturday, the prison service explained that prison guards were forced to open fire on the protesting prisoners after they rushed the gate at the facility.
Watch your guy in here, watch. You know how much people don't like, don't dare in here? I'm going to send you a video to y'all just now. Watch your guy in here by the gate.
Moments before, on the same day, the prisoners were loud in their disapproval of the way the prison was handling concerns of coronavirus and the condition of the facilities. The Minister of Health and the Minister of Home Affairs were forced to leave the facility early following the disruptions. Let's tell you now that widespread testing of inmates at the Lusignan prison has revealed that over 80 of the prisoners are COVID-19 positive, according to senior health officials. The prison director Gladwin Samuels has confirmed that over 80 inmates have indeed tested positive for COVID-19. The results were received over the weekend, and the prison authorities have been busy trying to put systems in place to house the positive cases in a separate facility. The over 80 positive cases are in addition to the first 2 cases that were recorded at the cramped jailhouse last week. Those first 2 cases triggered the decision to do widespread testing at the prison. News source understands that a decision has been taken to have the inmates isolated at a government facility just outside of Georgetown under heavy security. Initially, there was a plan to have the COVID-19 positive inmates housed on the main tarmac of the national park. But that plan fell through after senior security officials raised concerns about the security in that area. On Saturday morning, tents and fencing were being placed for the move to the national park. But by Saturday afternoon, everything was dismantled and the plan was shelved. The positive cases have since been moved to the secured facility outside of Georgetown, where the prisoners are now on the Heavy Joint Services Guard. Over the weekend, an unrest broke out at the Lusignan jail as the prisoners loudly voiced their concerns about the condition of the facility and the poor measures in place to protect them from COVID-19. Just after the first case of the COVID-19 was recorded in Guyana, visitation to the prisons were halted, and most of the prisoners would face their court hearings via video conference. But with new prisoners being added to the already overpopulated facility almost daily, and prison officers allowed to travel home regularly, the possibility of infections and spread always remained high. Health officials are now assisting the prison authorities with the daily sanitization of the facilities at Lusignan. The Ministry of Public Health today confirmed that Guyana recorded its 66th COVID-19 related death today. The latest fatality is a 67-year-old man from Region 1. Yesterday, the country recorded its 65th death. That person was a 51-year-old man from Region 4. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry also reported that the country recorded 133 new cases as of midnight last night. The day before, the country recorded 101 new cases, and the day before that day, 66 new cases were recorded. In the past 3 days, 300 new cases and 4 deaths were recorded in the country. The majority of the new cases are from Region 4, once again making the region that is home to the capital the hotspot for COVID-19 cases in the country. Of the 2,402 confirmed cases that have been recorded in Guyana since the pandemic started back in March, Region 4 is home to 1,053 of those cases. As of midnight last night, the country had recorded 1,359 recoveries. The Maritime Administration Department has announced extended working hours for those speedboats that ply the Georgetown to Breeden Hoop route. With effect from today, the speedboats will be allowed to operate between the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Previously, they were forced to end all operations at 5 p.m. In its statement, the Maritime Administration Department said passengers and boat operators must remember to pay attention to physical distancing and other health guidelines related to COVID-19. MARAD intends to have additional monitors and inspectors on both sides of the river to monitor the daily operations. President Irfan Ali made a statement to the United Nations today on behalf of the Group of 77 and China, calling for the global community to ensure more resources are made available to tackle the impact of COVID-19.
We must seek to strengthen solidarity to address the pandemic, commit to take forward the 2030 agenda, and intensify our global partnerships. We also reaffirm that the imposition of coercive economic measures against the developing country is an impediment to economic and social development, and to dialogue and understanding among countries. We must do everything we can to fulfill our obligations to the peoples of this world in this decade of action and delivery for sustainable development.
The president added that as the United Nations celebrates its 75th anniversary, it is disheartening that millions of the world's people are still living in poverty. He said eradicating poverty remains the greatest global challenge and the first priority for the Group of 77 and China.
It is disheartening to note that millions of the world's people are still living in poverty. Eradicating this scourge remains the greatest global challenge and the first priority for our group.
Guyana is currently chairing the Group of 77 and China. The president said the group looks forward to the UN continuing to address the challenges and needs to live up to its own ideals and promise. He said global challenges such as climate change and the impacts of COVID-19 must be successfully countered. Across the Region is coming up next. Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
We all know a strong educational foundation is a key to successful learning. Global Technology combines award-winning curriculum with innovative technology and teacher support to help students reach their potential. Our online platform creates an engaging learning experience. Using any device, you can be a part of amazing class discussions, collaborate with others, and have access to virtual learning software. With our multiple payment methods, you will never have to leave home. Find out how Global Technology can allow you to learn anything, anywhere, at any time.
Falls, the official distributors of Castrol Marine, Mining and Power Gen lubricants in Guyana, now has in stock CRB engine oils, high-spin hydraulic oil, Vecton semi-synthetic truck oils, and Sultex cylinder oils. For the best prices, check our dealers countrywide or visit Falls Gas Station at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, or call the commercial manager on 608-4998. Castrol, it's more than just oil, it's liquid engineering.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, Jamaica police have gone on high alert following what law enforcement authorities have termed coordinated attacks against police officers and their families. The Jamaica Constabulary Force in a statement said that it had raised the threat level for violence against members to high, and that there have been 3 such incidents in the past 24 hours. The Jamaican police said that 3 men have been taken into custody in connection with the incidents. The JCF said it is unable to disclose details due to the sensitive nature of the high-level investigation, and the National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has condemned the recent attacks on police officers, resulting in the death of 67-year-old Clifton Green, the father of a detective inspector of police. Brazil's former leftist president Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, barred from elected office due to corruption convictions, said he is open to backing any candidate who can beat far-right President Jair Bolsonaro in the elections in 2022. He said whether or not he himself runs in the next election depends on the courts. The former president has 2 criminal convictions for graft that bar him from running unless he is able to overturn them, plus 5 other indictments. The former leader said his Workers' Party, known as the PT, will support left and center-left parties in the November local elections to build opposition to Bolsonaro, who he accused of failing to lead Brazil out of its worst economic and public health crisis in the coronavirus pandemic. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he will name a replacement to Ruth Bader Ginsburg by week's end and urged the Republican-controlled Senate to confirm his Supreme Court choice before the 3rd of November, when America votes. The plan has launched a high-stakes battle with far-reaching political consequences ahead of the election. Mr. Trump would replace Ginsburg, a liberal stalwart who died on Friday at age 87, with a conservative. Approval would cement a right-leaning majority on the court for decades. The appointment of judges to the Supreme Court is a political decision, in which the president chooses who is put forward. The Senate then votes to confirm or reject that choice. The balance of the 9-member court is crucial to its rulings on the most important issues in U.S. law. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.